Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all buzzing still from the weekend's action. On the pitch, it is all going right for Manchester United, but of course, we have to talk off the pitch as well. I'm not scaremongering. We're not scaremongering here. We're just bringing you the actual facts on what has been said and what is currently being reported on United's possible takeover at the moment. If you're unsure about what is going on, this is what the show is about. It's interactive. Get your comments in. We're going to talk about everything that's been put out there so far today, this morning, over the weekend. We're going to talk about Gary Neville's comments. We've got some quotes coming from Mark Ogden of ESPN. And everything that's circulating right now in the media, social media. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of conversations. I spoke with a few journalists well over in Barcelona as well, and what they were saying in terms of everything Manchester United takeover. It was interesting, and we're going to get into that and get into your thoughts and comments as well. Hello to everybody in the chat. Cheers for watching. I've not done a morning show for a while. It has been it's been a long time in coming. I feel like it's important right now, especially after the week, the importance that this week has in terms of football. We are going to talk about some contract negotiations going on as well with certain players at the end of this show, and then look ahead to what is, like I said, going to be an absolutely monumental week in Manchester United's season. This week we hit game 39 already, and we're still not through February. This goes to show exactly how big a season this has been so far and how well we have done. Morning, everyone. Let's get into it then. Okay. First of all, I want to get into what Gary Neville said on on Sky Sports yesterday. He was talking after the game. He was commentating on the Leicester United game at Old Trafford, and he was going into the fears of Manchester United fans, the ownership, giving his say on what's been going on. He's been quite quiet over the last few days since the news broke on Friday about the Qatari bid going in, obviously Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos's bid going in. But now the more concerning thing is the Elliott Management Group interest in Manchester United. That's what I want to talk about more. But what Gary Neville was saying was the concerns of all Manchester United fans would be any sort of interest or investment into United which keeps the Glazers anywhere near. And that's not just saying power. Even if they've got a small stake or if they've got a small part to play in Manchester United, then any future happenings going on, then most Manchester United fans would be up in arms. It wouldn't sit well, and it's not what we want. This has to be, in Manchester United's eyes, a full takeover. Glazers gone. That is the only way it works for a Manchester United fan. You can look at it and try and break it down in favour of the Glazers as much as you want, but this has to be full-on Glazers out. You can see a quote there that Mark Ogden from the ESPN has put out there. The Glazers have been offered the financial backing to remain as owners of Manchester United by American hedge fund Elliott Management. That's what we don't want to hear. That is a reality. So when that one came in over the week, I think that was Saturday when Elliott Management Fund came in and registered their interest in Manchester United. It came after the Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Qatari bid. And we all wondering what it was. When we found out it was American, it sort of sent shivers down a lot of fans' spines straight away. The American ownership models, financing, funding, having other investors come into Manchester United is not what we want. We want rid of that. And I think everyone right now is in unison with the Glazers having no say with Manchester United, but also a bid coming in for Manchester United similar to what the Glazers have done in the past in financing, like I said, and not using their own money is where we want to be well clear of as a fan base. We want the heart of Manchester United to be, well, it needs to be fan. It needs to be fan-led. It needs to have the fan interest at heart, and obviously it needs to be in football matters. It doesn't need to be about making money and actually financing Manchester United and lining their own pockets, which the Glazers have done. Who's to say that won't happen again? We don't know. We can't have a say in it. It's obviously down to the Glazers, and they will go with the highest bidder. Or if, like this here says, that the Elliott Management Fund is coming in, are going to finance them and they stay, I think it's worst case scenario. It would go from jubilation down to absolute despair in all Manchester United fans' eyes if this was the case and this ended up being the preferred bid for the Glazers. Sources involved in the bidding process have said that the Elliott Management proposal is for possible financing, not a bid for the club. Like I just said then, leading into a possibility of the Glazers, Avram and Joel buying out their siblings and someone else coming in with the investment to join them two. Them two then solely staying in charge of Manchester United. Nightmare. Nightmare. Whichever way you break it down, it's not what Manchester United want. It's not what Manchester United fans need right now. And it worries you, doesn't it? It is a massive, massive concern that all of this was a big smokescreen. Was it a case of getting as many parties to the table and making a bidding war? We've seen the price in the stock exchange go through the roof for Manchester United over the last couple of weeks, simply because, well, it's a combination of possible takeover and Manchester United doing well on the pitch as well. When you look at it and you look at anyone looking to invest, say for instance, let's just play devils here and say the Glazers stayed, and anyone looking to invest in Manchester United would automatically see we're going to be in the Champions League next season. The way we're playing with Ten Hag in charge, things are looking up, but it's never a given, obviously, things can go wrong. But the way that the season has gone and what Ten Hag is doing with his team right now, Manchester United in the Champions League, there's what, 70 million, pretty much, if you're competing in the Champions League. That then would interest sponsorships for that available shirt deal that Manchester United have got now. Obviously, TeamViewer are hanging on until a new suitor comes in to take over Manchester United's shirt sponsor. So any investor would look at that and go, well, there's more money coming into Manchester United. It is there. It is an option for investors to come into Manchester United. And it is appealing again, Manchester United right now. Stock price, like I said, has gone through the roof. But ultimately, it's not what we want as fans. Can someone make a convincing bid for the Glazers to go? Now, when you look at it and you break it down, Gary Neville is just basically saying yesterday everything that Manchester United fans are fearing right now. It's a case of that they would stay. It's like there's that fear that everything like what we just spoke about there with the Elliott management group in investing into Manchester United and Joel and Avram staying, any Glazer member at all still being at this football club is a no-go for nearly every single United fan. So it is a massive, massive concern that this Elliott management group could actually fund the Glazers staying. Americans buying into the American ownership, which is the Glazers and Manchester United right now. And that would be it. That would be done and dusted, and the Glazers in for the foreseeable. It would be catastrophic, because this is the moment. This is a pivotal time in Manchester United's history. If the Glazers end up staying now, then that's it for, I think, most of our lifetimes. There's no way that the Glazers then would be looking to shift Manchester United or move away or sell the club. It isn't going to happen past this point. It has to happen now. Otherwise, we are going to be stuck with this ownership model, with the debt, with everything that it brings, the deterioration, of Old Trafford, the fact that the women's team and the under-21s don't even play their home games in Manchester. We haven't got the facilities. Everything just goes back, and it would just leave a horrible sour taste in the mouths. Whereas you look at, like on your stand there, Mark Ogden's breakdown in his tweet there of Sir Jim Radcliffe's. Radcliffe and Sheikh Jassim are preparing to fund their own bids for Manchester United. Sources have said that the Elliott's entry into the process offers the Glazers and the Reign the opportunity to negotiate investment for the existing owners if a full sale cannot be achieved. Basically, break that down. The Elliott Management Fund is offering the Glazers the only chance that they stay in any sort of power or have any say or stake in Manchester United. It looks like Sir Jim Radcliffe and the Qatari bid are sole ownership. The Glazers gone. So that's where we're looking. They're the favourable two at the moment. We'll get into their bids as well shortly. Super chat in from Bob Slots there. You're at the matches every week and seeing lots of peaceful protests. Do you think it will stay peaceful if the Glazers decide to stay on at the football club? It's a good question, Bob. My experience is anything involved with the Glazers, you would not be looking as peaceful as it has been. I think the hope of Manchester United fans right now of someone else coming in, the Glazers leaving, to be taken away from us like that, that would really stir up the nest. That would be, I couldn't say how it would go, but my guess from how these protests have gone before, and like I said, taking that hope away, it's like someone offering you something and then just taking it away instantly. It's like we can see the future without the Glazers right now. We can envisage it with the bids that have been put forward, not just from the Qatari, but from Sir Jim Radcliffe. whether or not them two are better than each other or which one works best. You can see the future without the Glazers, and that ultimately is the goal here for all United fans. But if that is then taken away, I could see the protest getting a little bit nastier. Yes, to answer your question on that one, Bob, I think it is a worry if it does come to that. I don't believe it will be as peaceful as it has been in the past. I mean, we've seen what happened when the fans got onto the pitch. Could that happen again? Who knows? Who knows what would happen? If the Glazers stay, I think they've got some front, I'll say that. They definitely have, especially with how they spent in the summer on the company credit card. It wasn't even their money again. So they basically leveraged everything onto debt again for Ten Hag. And that would leave us with nowhere to go in the summer. So we wouldn't get back in, I don't think, for Ten Hag in the summer if the Glazers were still there. And that's where United fans will then start going, OK, that's enough. That is enough. And I think that's where it might turn a bit nasty. Super chat in from Glenboy. What really worries me, Adam, is if they go with the hedge fund, the Glazers might mortgage Old Trafford to the hilt. If there is a crash, we are doomed. Well, this is what Gary Neville was also saying yesterday. They've run out of money, the Glazers. There's no more money to spend. They cannot rinse any more finance out of Manchester United. We have maxed out on everything credit-wise that is possibly there. When you add up what debt the club have built up in interest over the years, and then you add to that the rolling finance facility, which we have spent, basically a company credit card, which we spent all of on transfers in the summer for Ten Hag, there's nothing left. Outside investment is what's needed, and that's what this hedge fund is. This is what this Elliott Management Group is. This is probably the ultimate for the Glazers and what they really wanted. We just need someone to come in and just blow them away and say, I'm buying Manchester United. This is an offer that you cannot refuse. Out you go. That's what we're all hoping for. And Manchester United will go if someone does offer the right price to the Glazers. But while someone is offering them that olive branch, that little bit just to stay in charge and have power, because let's not forget, it's not just about the money with the Glazers, it's about the power, the trip that they've got there. I mean, they've invested, a bare minimum of 300 million, I think, of their own money from the start, over 17 years. Everything else, the 4 billion worth of what Manchester United is right now, is just down to the way that the football club has performed and has been on the stock exchange. That is it. There's been zero input from the Glazers whatsoever. Let's not forget that. And that is set to continue if this bid is accepted. That's the worry. And that's what, like Gary Neville said, they haven't got any more money. They're trying to get more money in and just stay in power. That's it. This is the last roll of the dice for the Glazers. We just hope that the Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid or the Qatari bid is that strong that they can't say no to. Super chat in from Tom. Morning, Adam. This is disgusting. I nearly vomited in my breakfast reading this. We can't have parasites. Does everyone agree that we need new owners? I can answer that question for everyone, I think. I don't think anyone's going to go against what I say right now, which would be get the Glazers out. Let's have brand new owners, a new structure, a new model, and Manchester United move forward with no more debt. That is everything to Manchester United fans right now, and I feel is the most important thing. It doesn't matter to the Glazers at all what we think. We've known that for 17 plus years. It doesn't matter who is bidding for Manchester United, what their background is. As long as you put money on the table in front of the Glazers and they're happy with that bid and they're happy with that amount, that's all they care about. We have to look at it and go, we can say this about that bid, we can say this about that one. Ultimately, it all comes down to what the Glazers want to accept. And the Glazers will only accept a price that they're happy with. They're hoping to drive this bid up through multiple bidders coming in, and then they'll look at this Elliott Management Fund on the side and go, well, can we? Is it worth us staying around for this if they come in and invest? We're not going to get any more backlash from the rest of the family. They'll be gone. They'll be bought out by this Elliott Management Fund. And then we can just stay in control, taking our dividends, taking our money out of Manchester United constantly. And like I said, the future does look bright with Ten Hag. Has our form on the pitch this season been a hindrance in us getting rid of the Glazers right now? That's what you got to look at. It's like all of a sudden things are looking rosy. Are the Glazers now thinking, oh, well, we might still have a place here at Manchester United. We can still earn money here. If we get some extra investment in, could we actually still be in power and make something of this? They don't care what we think. They're not bothered about turning up to Old Trafford anymore. So I think, like, unfortunately for us, we've had such a good season on the pitch as it hampered what could have been good off the pitch. I would never put Manchester United going through the doldrums like last season ahead of anything. I want the club to be successful on the pitch. That has to be at the forefront of everything. But you have to also say, oh, wow, if this happened last season, I think the Glazers would have taken whatever came to them. But now Manchester United's price is just going through the roof. We're fighting for 4 trophies this season. Like I said, the prospect of new sponsorship deals for the shirt, the Champions League money that's going to come in when we qualify, all of a sudden money's coming back into United. But then you look at it and go, hopefully, the investment that's needed in the stadium and everything else that's going to be needed to be spent on top would be too much. And a Qatari bid, a Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid, comes in and just quashes everything of the Glazers staying or any opportunity of them staying. That's what needs to happen. That's what is important. And hopefully, then bids are good enough for the Glazers to go, let's just go. Let's finish. Let's just make, $4 billion on our investment. We spent absolutely nothing. Let's walk away with a massive profit and go and spend that elsewhere and get out of Manchester. That's all we're saying as a fan base. Hopefully the Glazers are thinking like that. Oh, dear God, please. You can imagine. I can see the fear in the comments. I can see the fear in the chat right now of all of this going on and everyone worrying about what actually might happen. We're not scaremongering here at all. This is just what is being reported this morning. The quotes are all there. The tweets are there on the United Stand Twitter feed. So if you do need some more information, the links to them, then they are there on our Twitter feed. So do jump across there onto Twitter and look up them a little bit more. I'm just going to read through a few more, actually, tweets from our Twitter feed. So another one here, it says, Qatari bid for Manchester United has funds in place to buy 100% of the club without any borrowing. Massive, key and hassle-free, I would say. Quickest possible outcome for a full sale. They believe it's the best offer on the table, not just in terms of price, but also regarding commitment to investments and the men's and women's teams, infrastructure and local regeneration. The Qataris are singing, and I think I've got the best tune right now in terms of what Manchester United fans are looking at for any potential bidder to come in. You've obviously got the human rights issues and everything like that follow through, but if you just put that aside right now, and I don't mean that in any way passing that off, because that is and should be at the forefront of any bid to make sure it's cleared and ironed out before anyone comes in. But if you look at it on a football side of things, the investment in the surrounding areas, the infrastructure, massive investment, like I just said, is needed in the under-21s and all youth level. That includes the training ground and where these games are played. At the moment, we're playing at Leigh Sports Village. It's not even Manchester. The women's team doing so well right now. It cannot be ignored. We've seen the complaints about the training facilities. I've been at Carrington where I've seen first team and under-21 players drive out, all showered and suited and booted after training. And I've seen women drive out still in the kits from the training session. There's something wrong there that needs sorting, and it needs to be looked into and has to be a big part of this bid. And the Qataris have seen that, and that bid and everything that's been said there in that statement is ticking every single box. Obviously, there will be fan involvement in it. They've said that as well. There'll be funds for Erik ten Hag, obviously to improve the squad. He will get back in. The stadium, everything is covered by the Qatari bid. That's what's been said. Whether or not that comes to fruition, I don't know. We'll see in time. But obviously, the plan laid out for me right now, the best bid looks like the Qatari bid in terms of football fans and what we're looking at going forward for Manchester United. Football-wise, it just ticks every single box. And I don't think Sir Jim Ratcliffe could compete with that. Looking at what he said, he's looking for a majority holding. He's looking to, I think it's 79% or something like that. It just doesn't look like his plan would have the finances to offer what the Qatari can offer, the Qatari bid can offer. That is, I think, what's swaying most of the younger generation of Manchester United fans. It was interesting, I read an article in the Mail this morning about people that were asked outside Old Trafford on Sunday before the Leicester game. I looked at it. I read through the whole article from the Mail. Chris Wheeler from the Mail has posted it out on Twitter. If you read through it and you read in detail of it, and I looked at the ages of the people and the season ticket holders they actually asked who their preferred bid was. None of them picked the Qatari bid, but I think it was a 66-year-old, a 61-year-old and a 77-year-old. They're the ones that were in the article. And it's another generation of fan. Not one of them picked the Qatari bid. I do believe that there is that whole nostalgia, love affair of Sir Jim Radcliffe, the local man coming in. That's who we want in charge of Manchester United. And then you've got the younger generation. I think Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic called it tribalism online, of them only wanting the Qatari bid and not looking into the deeper facts of what this would implicate or bring up to the table of conversation with the Qatari bid. It still needs scrutinising, he said. But there is that tribalism in social media right now, and the younger generation of football fan that is pushing the Qatari bid stronger. When everything is broken down, it would be, we don't have a say. The Glazers have the power, they'll pick who comes in, and then we just have to move on. We just hope that everything is looked into properly by Manchester United, because they have to do their work as well here in terms of any bid. So it has to be properly broken down, structured. And from what I'm reading, and that's all we've seen so far, from what I have seen, the Qataris are saying the right things. Whether or not there will be a problem in the bid with the human rights side of things going forward, that's what the club have to make sure is looked at and he's put in place before anything goes to that stage, which looks very pretty on paper, doesn't it? It does. Everything looks great. I have to admit, when the news broke, we got back from Barcelona, and this is just me and just how I feel and like how old I am with Manchester United and where I'm at. It felt, when the news broke on Friday about the Qatari bid, and then I seen loads of people online, this is it, this is his future, we're going to go and buy Mbappe, Bellingham, all the best players in the world. I couldn't help feel like a little bit of my soul had been just destroyed, taken away. It's still, I mean, that just shows where I'm at as a United fan. Someone else is coming in and buying United and taking complete control of our club. Manchester United can run on its own. It doesn't need outside investment, but the reality is we were put on the stock market. We are public. It is what it is. We have to accept that this is the modern world right now, and that's where we're at. That's where I am at. I understand that we are going to get bought. We are a business, and we have no say about who comes in and buys Manchester United. It does feel a little bit horrible inside, I'm not going to lie, but it is reality. This is what it is. We have to deal with whatever comes our way in terms of ownership, but the football club have to be on top of everything with this. Anyone that comes into this football club and takes Manchester United, this is it, I think, now for the future of Manchester United. This is a massive stage in this club's history. This right now has to be right for this football club. Otherwise, we are just going to go into the doldrums again, I feel. It has to be the right ownership model. The fans have to have a say. And I think the club need to do their homework and make sure that this is right for Manchester United above anything else. Sort of went down a little bit of nostalgia lane myself there. Sorry about that, guys, but that's just the way I feel. I'm just going to get into a few super chats here that have just gone by as I was rambling on. Sorry, I've just lost them now. Bloody hell. Sorry, guys, if you have done a super chat, I'm just going to bring it up. Dig it up. There we go. I've got it back. It's all right. Tony says, hi Adam, I refuse to buy club merchandise right now. If they stayed, I would seriously consider finding a small local team to support. Big words from Tony there. This is what I said before. It's like we've been given the olive branch right now. It's just going to be taken away if this is what happens. The thought that we was losing the Glazers and someone else was coming in, the future was bright, to then be told that the Glazers are staying and there's just another investment from another American fund coming in, I think that would destroy a lot of this fan base. I think it would turn a little bit poisonous, personally. I think that's just the vibe I get talking to United fans. This would just hurt. Jamie says, what is the actual timescale of this process? Well, they've said this could go on a lot longer and depends how much and how quickly the Glazers want to move this on. If the Glazers are thinking of staying, I think the easy option for them and the quickest would be the Elliott Management Fund. That's the one that would work quickest. The Qatari one, I think, needs a bit of looking into and a lot more work in terms of breaking it down and what is right and what the intentions are. I think that one would then take us into like the springtime. This is when everything is hopefully, and what the club have said and the Rain Group have said is timescale wise what we're looking at around spring towards the end of the season, hopefully, then going into the summer with everything in place and we know exactly who is running our football club. That's where we're at with that right now. So wanted to, quickly, we've done most of the show there, guys, already on what's actually happening this morning. We know where we're up to in terms of bids. We know what's happening off the pitch now. Obviously, Ten Hag has been talking about what he deals with on the pitch. He's aware of everything going on off it, but it's not up to him. He's just dealing with what's going on the pitch, which is very good right now. So let's move across from what is worrying this morning to what is positive and a massive week for United. But first of all, we have to talk about current contract situations at Manchester United. Now, contract talk of Marcus Rashford is ongoing, and any ownership model or any negotiations going off the pitch won't get in the way of Marcus Rashford's contract negotiations. That's already been set in stone. Nothing is going to affect that. You can see up on your screen now. Initial conversation, this has come from David Olstein of The Athletic. Initial conversations over a new long-term contract for Rashford have already taken place, and more are planned, with the England striker currently enjoying the best season of his career. Totally agree with that one. It is phenomenal form for Marcus Rashford right now. But anything going on off the pitch, he's not going to get in the way of this. Ten Hag's number one priority right now, in his words, is getting Marcus Rashford tied down to a new contract. He is the best forward player in world football right now. I think Ten Hag has said that. If you listen to the fan forum yesterday, Charlie was talking about Marcus Rashford's stats. I mean, over the overall season, he's only behind Mbappe and Haaland, and that is top table. That is the top tier in terms of quality of forward players right now. If you go post-World Cup, there's no one better. There's no one better than Marcus Rashford. 16 goals, 5 assists so far since we've come back from the World Cup. Unbelievable. And everyone was singing his praises outside Old Trafford yesterday, apart from Ricky. Joke, Ricky does know his worth, and talking to Ricky in Barcelona, he was still full of praise for Marcus Rashford and how well he's doing. But yeah, it is priority number one. Get our good players tied down. That's not just Marcus Rashford, obviously. Dalot is in contract negotiations. David De Gea is in contract negotiations as well. And obviously we have to start talking about Luke Shaw and players like this. It's going to be a really interesting summer. And to answer that super chat that went before, I think it's important that everything is settled and in place so we can get these contracts sorted. A new ownership in place for the summer, so the players feel a little bit more confident. They can see a direction of the club. Yeah, right now, Ten Hag has got them nailed down. We know what we're doing. No contract talk. It is just about what's going on the pitch. But deep down, the players' agents are probably thinking, do we hang on? Do we try and draw out this contract negotiation? Because new owners coming in, if it's the Qataris, could I get more for my client? They're going to look at that and go, okay, let's just negotiate, but let's maybe just hold our horses a little bit and see what's going on with Manchester United here. And then they're sort of chancing their arm saying, well, actually, if the Glazers do end up staying, so we just nail down the best deal we can now while the iron's hot and Marcus Rashford is flying. Do we just get the deal done as quickly as possible? Because we don't know the uncertainty of Manchester United's future in terms of owners. Should we just do it now? So stuck a little bit at the moment. Are they going to chance it and go and wait out to the summer? Fabrizio Romano, there's another tweet on there, says talks will continue with Diogo Dalot over a new deal. He's considered a key part of the project by Ten Hag. So I think when we interviewed Dalot a couple of months ago, it was made very clear by himself that he loves Manchester United. He's not looking at another club. If Dalot was to move on, it would be at the club's. It would be the club's choice, not Dalot. He wants to stay at United, and I think his performance again yesterday, fighting for his place alongside Wan-Bissaka now at right back. I think every Manchester United player now is seeing a brighter future at the club under Ten Hag and want a part of it. And with the competition for places right now, I think that's coming across. Ten Hag has got these players fighting off the bench. Everyone who is starting is performing well. We've seen the injuries that have come in and players step in for them players and actually perform on the pitch. It's a breath of fresh air, I'm not going to lie. It is. And Old Trafford has never... going back to Sir Alex Ferguson days was the last time I felt a vibe like this around Old Trafford within the fan base, and how positive it is. Super chat in from Cantuta says, what's with double standards when it comes to ethics and morals about the Americans and their foreign policy? Only care about Qatar issues. This is the topic that's going to split the fan base in terms of no matter who comes in and takes Manchester United, there's always going to be a party that doesn't agree with how they are run, what they are doing off the pitch, the issues that they have got, how they've come to their power, and everything that's involved. It's not just going to be, say, for instance, Sir Jim Ratcliffe takes charge of Manchester United. People are going to have a problem about how his company is run. There's a lot to look into in every side of every bid that comes into Manchester United. There's never going to be one bid that's going to be a majority and everyone's happy. That's a guarantee. Someone is not going to be happy with a certain bid. At the end, like I said, as a fan base, we're not going to have a say. We can debate the morals, like the Super Chat said there, and everything that's involved in any particular bid, but ultimately we have no say at all. Like I said before, I felt like a little bit of my soul was taken away when I heard about someone just coming in and buying United. But the reality is, we are a business now. We are on the stock market and we are open for sale. It's what modern day football is. We have to accept it. And the powers that be, the Glazers, they're the ones who are going to decide. It's all going to come down to the highest bid. That's it. The tweet there just in front of you on your screens. Manchester United are planning to insist for Marcus Rashford's new contract. It's top priority for Erik Ten Hag and the board, and his current deal expires in 2024 for Fabrizio Romano with that one. Top priority. I mean, Ten Hag has had to deal with so much this season, has dealt with it so well. I think that him alone has added value to Manchester United. You'd have thought if getting rid of Cristiano Ronaldo, the stock price would have plummeted, but it's worked the complete opposite way. Ten Hag has used it to boost Manchester United to a point where we are now fighting for 4 trophies, because United are fighting for 4 trophies. That is going to get interest from all over the world in terms of investment. People will actually look at United now and go, yeah, I can invest, but I can actually get back from Manchester United. This is a profitable company. The revenues, like Gary Neville said in his interview yesterday, United earns so much money. You should be in for the best players in the world. Anyone who comes in for Manchester United, if you cleared the decks, no debt, you would expect to make money out of Manchester United also as investing. Yes, the initial investment is going to be monumental. It's going to be upwards of 8 billion when you bring in the infrastructure and the squad interests. Like we've said, the training grounds, the stadium, the players that are going to have to be brought in for Manchester United to strengthen the squad, the women's team, the under-21s. I reckon 8 billion is going to be the investment from anyone coming in just to get that done. And that's not going to happen overnight either. So you got to look at it and go, yeah, that's hard, but in the future, if this club is run right, then profits are only going to keep going up and up and up. The TV deals that come with the Premier League, the Champions League football, which should be solidified at Manchester United, that investment there will come back in time, but only if it's run right. Prime example is Chelsea right now, and what Todd Bowley's invested in them and how badly it's going there. It cannot just be gun-ho, invest a load of money, expect results straight away. There has to be a structure. And this is where, like I said before, Ten Hag has built his own structure within this club right now. The club have backed Ten Hag with every decision that he's made this season. That has to be the way forward, and it's worked. If you had an ownership model above that, which is going to help that even more, then Manchester United's future is bright. This is how any ownership model needs to be discussed and put to the table. It has to be scrutinised in every single way. Another super chat in here from SK. No one owns the fans and income is partly sponsors and is based on us too. Very true. We have a say, just need to be a super vocal at that the Glazer in any shape is a no. Yeah, SK, we do have a say in terms of how much we invest in our football club, in terms of what we want to spend. We don't have to buy tickets, we don't have to go to the mega store, we don't have to invest in this football club. Does that give us a say? Well, if the right ownership model comes in, yes it does. Under the Glazers, we know that has zero say. They don't care. I mean, the Glazers, I've seen videos of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers burning season tickets at fan meetings. They don't care. They really do not care what we do and what we do. If we protest, we protest. The Glazer ownership, I think, is at this stage now where the club is up for sale. It's simply because there's no money left. There's nothing left to take out of Manchester United under the Glazer model. We are going to be paying debts, and any profit, like I just said then, what was coming into the club, is just going to be paying the mounting debts. Almost £1 billion in debt when you had that revolving credit facility that was spent in the summer on players. Money we did not have. Anything coming in with the Glazers in charge is just going to get swallowed up by their dividends and the debt that they have created at Manchester United. It has to be Glazers gone, it has to be debt cleared, and it has to be clean slate, new ownership, one vision going forward based on football and the operation of the under-21s, the women's team, and everything being equal at this football club. That's the only way we move forward and we are successful on the pitch in every quarter. 21s, first team, women's, the younger teams below the under-21s, everything. It's the only way we're successful going forward is without the Glazers. I think that's a fact. And the fact that the abuse of Alex Ferguson's qualities in keeping us relevant, winning trophies on a budget which wasn't enough for Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson left at the right time. I think even he realised that Manchester United was at its end in terms of how we can invest and get better. It just turned out in the end that the time had come, and we've seen over the last decade that the Glazer model is just going to drive this club further and further down, and we're going to move away from top table football. We're not going to be there. We're not going to be dining at that table anymore. Yeah, this season is great under Ten Hag, but this is his first season. Out the Champions League, we know the Glazers invest. Ten Hag has put us in a place again. He's like the new Sir Alex Ferguson. Ten Hag has got us to where we are. Yeah, the Glazers invested the money in the summer. We spent too much because we dilly-dallied in the transfer window, but Ten Hag isn't going to be able to carry on the way he is unless he gets backing. It's as simple as that. It needs to be a long-term plan. One season wonder is what it will be if the Glazers don't back Ten Hag in the future. They're not going to back him because we haven't got the money to spend in the summer. It's all been spent up already. We're already talking, hearing stories that United's budget with financial fair play is very minimal. Maybe one key signing in one area of the pitch. That's not good enough. Manchester United, and we know, need investment in three or four positions on this pitch. We also need investment in our stadium. It is deteriorating and has to be put back up there, level with the best that is in world football. The Glazers won't be able to fund that either. So it has to be Glazers out. It has to be the model where they have no say at all, whether it's a small stake or not. I do not care. The Glazers have to be gone out of this football club. That's the fans' view, and I think the only way that this club prospers going forward is with them having zero involvement in Manchester United. It's as simple as that. Super chat from DK says, is there any way to target the Elliott group? I just want the Glazers out. Everything else will sort itself out later. First is to get the Glazers out. Echoing what I just said there. Adam was at the game yesterday, so his voice is shot. Is my voice coming across that bad? I'm sorry. I'm just celebrating Manchester United winning at the moment. And yes, it was quite jubilant yesterday. It's been a crazy week. Let's not kid ourselves. Looking ahead to what is coming this week, it is just pure excitement. Barcelona at Old Trafford, followed by a cup final followed by FA Cup, followed by Liverpool away. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger for Manchester United right now. And for me, I was asked this morning on Sky Sports, actually, what's important? Is it Barcelona and the Europa League? Is the Europa League as important as picking up a trophy like the League Cup on Sunday against Liverpool? All I could say was, in response, was, I'll just echo what our manager has said. It's game by game. You cannot, as a Manchester United fan, player, anyone up in the board or anyone related to Manchester United, you cannot ignore or put aside Manchester United versus Barcelona when it's 2-2 from the first leg, under the floodlights at Old Trafford. This is the biggest game in world football when you look at the size of both of these football clubs. We were at Barcelona in the week. That is a huge club, a massive club. We can't ignore what's in front of us. We cannot think about Sunday. And that is hard to say, 6 years without a trophy and one game away on Sunday. We can't ignore Thursday. Thursday has to come first. Manchester United, I thought, stapled themselves back at the top tier of football with that result against Barcelona on Thursday. That put United back up there and said a lot. It sort of put Manchester United back out to the world as we are playing, we are Manchester United, we're here again. I was listening to Xavi's interview afterwards and he said Manchester is back. Notice how he said Manchester, because there is only one team in Manchester, especially in world football. No matter what you do, City, it doesn't matter. There is only one in Manchester. His words, I thought were more poignant than anything else coming from that week. It was like he recognised the game that he was in. His Barcelona team have been running away with it. Let's not forget, yes, this game, Manchester United and Barcelona, belongs in the Champions League. It really does. But Barcelona have, I think, 4 points clear, 4 or 5 points clear of a game in hand on Real Madrid. Real Madrid are European champions and Barcelona are near enough walking that right now. And we put them to the sword at the Nou Camp. Absolutely, I thought, deserved the win. Should have got more from the game. I thought the influence of the referee, like Ten Hag said, changed the momentum in that game. And Barcelona looked okay in the last 10 minutes. Manchester United took it to Barcelona. And I think they were shocked. I think the fan base was shocked. Outside, you could feel it. Listening to Barcelona fans talking outside, they were surprised at how good Manchester United were. Thursday night is massive. Let's not forget, Barcelona have a mindset and a mentality that they win, they have to win, and they will win. Manchester United need to be up for that. We've only done half of the job against Barcelona so far. It's important that we take this game seriously and we just forget about anything that's happening at weekend. As soon as that final whistle goes on Thursday, we will talk and dissect the game that just happened, and then we'll deal with Sunday against Newcastle. I'm not even thinking about Newcastle, and no Manchester United fan should be even looking ahead to the weekend before we deal with Barcelona. It's important that Manchester United finish the job off. I feel then we should be favourites to win the Europa League. I think right now United should be favourites for every single trophy that we're in apart from the league. I think that's right, the way we're playing. I think if you take out the first 2 games of the season in the Premier League, Manchester United are top of the league. We're the best team. And that's down to Ten Hag and realising people are still trying to say Manchester United aren't in the title race. But, well, City and Arsenal keep doing what they're doing. Manchester United keep the form up that we have got. You cannot ignore Manchester United in this title challenge. 5 points off Arsenal. Yes, they've got a game in hand. But if we're only 3 points behind City 24 games into a season and they're in a title charge, then so are Manchester United. Yeah, it may fall away. And then you'll say, yeah, I told you so. But people keep saying this. They keep trying to dismay Manchester United as serious challenges in this Premier League. We're still there. We're still there. We are 8 points clear of 5th place now. So Champions League spots, we're not looking at Champions League. We're closer to the top than we are to 5th. So that for me means that we are looking at Arsenal and City. We're not looking what's happening behind us. Let Spurs, Newcastle and Liverpool battle out for that 4th spot. Manchester United are looking at Arsenal. We're looking at Manchester City. I can't remember the last time I actually looked at City's results and thought, oh, I best watch this because this has a meaning for us. I can't remember the last time that I felt like that. That's how Ten Hag has got this team playing. And like I said, we were thinking February, it's too many games. The squad is threadbare. And then I looked at yesterday and I thought, well, that's Jadon Sancho coming back in form. So you've also got Garnacho on the bench there. Then McTominay comes back on. Then I look ahead to Barcelona in the week. Sabitzer's suspension's done. Casemiro's back. Everyone is available apart from Eriksen, Antony and Martial. And they're not a million... Well, obviously Eriksen is, back end of April, but Antony and Martial are getting closer. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. Look at the options we've got at centre-back. Look at the options we've now got a full-back on both sides. The midfield, now we've got more going forward. And we're going into squeaky bum time of the season. We've actually got a decent squad. And just watching Mainu come on yesterday when we were 3-0 up, a young player being brought on at the right time in a game, not just thrown in by Solskjaer because we're desperate and we're looking for a reaction or something like that. Erik ten Hag is bringing young players into a winning mentality, into the first team when they're on top of their game. This is how Manchester United used to be. This is how we got our class of 92. They were brought into a team of winners. And I look at Martinez, Varane, Casemiro, Rashford. You look at all these players, even to a certain extent, Jadon Sancho, and how he has been taken away by Ten Hag. And I posed the question many a times, and I've been proved wrong again by Ten Hag. And I was worried that he was just making too much out of what was happening, and it was going to be too much pressure on Sancho coming back. But look how he's come back. We've now got options. Every single player in that front line, so United's front four when we line up can play across any position now, it seems, in that front four. We are mixing it up. We've got options in-game, not just off the bench, but players who are on the pitch can change positions and still have the impact. This is what's going on at the training ground and what Ten Hag has done, and gives me more confidence more than ever going forward that Manchester United will be competing for at least, let's just say it, we're competing for 4 trophies. It's pointless me even saying I'm going to pick 2 out. I think we're favourites in nearly everything that we're in at the moment, apart from the league because of the point situation. And I'm not even looking at the comments, I'm just looking straight at the camera right now because everyone's going, probably, settle down, Adam, chill your bean. You know what, let's just get top 4 in a trophy. Why not? We're Manchester United. We're talking about what we should be expecting off the pitch. Why can't we now, with the way we're playing, expect our standards to be higher on the pitch? That's where I'm at right now as a fan. I can see the argument against it, but ultimately, what's to say? The players that we've got coming back, the way that we're playing, our home form, we've got the best player in world football right now in Marcus Rashford. I mean, come on. Guys, you've got to be realistic and say you have to feel confident in how United's season's going and what we can achieve out of this. It is going to be one hell of a season. I didn't expect it, and it's completely contrasts from what we had last season. If I told you, like, we are now 9 points away from our total points tally of the whole of last season and we're in February, that says everything you need to know about the turnaround that Ten Hag has brought to Manchester United. I think we're 1 win away from the amount that we had last season in the Premier League. February. Let that sink in. This is how big this season is. I just don't see how this team starts falling off again. With Ten Hag behind this team, I am more confident than ever. Guys, check out our Twitter feed there. Get your predictions in. You can see there's a tweet out there right now. We want to know how you're feeling about this Barcelona game. Game by game, like Ten Hag says. Let's take it one at a time. Let's get through Barcelona first. Get your predictions in for that one. Guys, let me know what you think. Get your comments in when this video goes live. There is your huge week on the screen right now. Massive for United. We could be into the latter stages of the FA Cup, closing in on the top spot in the league, actually have a trophy in the bag already. It is crazy what this next 10 days is going to bring for Manchester United. One at a time, though. Barcelona first. Let me know what you think, everybody. Cheers for watching. All your comments on point today. Don't be too dismayed by the headlines. It's just what's being reported right now. And then just as I try to wrap up, I get a super chat. Perfect timing, Bob. But it's a good one anyway. Love your enthusiasm. But if you scud this, then it's... scud this? I don't even know what that means. Is that a word? Is that a typo? I'm not sure, Bob. Am I just old and not down with the kids and knowing what that means? There's going to be hashtag Adam out if this all goes wrong this season. I'll take that. I've not got a problem with that. All day long, I'll eat my words, but I'm confident in my team right now. And with Ten Hag at the helm, why shouldn't I be? Exactly that. Hopefully, we get the right ownership model going forward. Here at the United Stand, we'll keep you up to date with everything going on with that. Cheers for tuning in, everybody. Comments, super chats, everyone, get onto our Twitter feed. Let us know what you think on the Barcelona game. Give me your score predictions. Like, share and subscribe to the United Stand. We are just 11,000 subscribers off from 1.6 million. The next 100,000 there. Dare we say the road to 2 million is on? Let's see. Guys, cheers for watching. Thanks. I will be back later on tomorrow. Obviously, Adam Talks will be back at 4 p.m. And the guys will be back also on our normal time slots and videos going through the days this week, building up to what is a massive week. Cheers for watching, everybody. We'll catch you through the week.